Good morning students, I am Mosmi Prasad and creator of this channel Digital Generation. This channel is regarding chapter wise preparation for both ICSE and CBSE students. I hope you will get best explanation and knowledge from this channel. Today in biology we are going to study nutrition, the first step in life process. What is life process? The process which are required to maintain normal running life and well-being of body is known as life process. Nutrition is a process in which the organism intake nutrients as well as utilize them for normal living of the life. Nutrients. The nutrients are those important substances which we found in food and are important in our everyday life to maintain the life processes. Now we are going to study the mode of nutrition. Mainly there are two modes of nutrition. Autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. In autotrophic mode of nutrition, the living beings can manufacture their own food. They are independent and they can manufacture their own food in presence of sunlight and by the presence of inorganic substances like carbon dioxide and water. Only green plants and cyanobacteria can manufacture their own food, and so only green plants and cyanobacteria are autotrophs. Another mode of nutrition is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition is that in which organism derives nutrients from the intake and utilization of the organic substances. They may be either plant or animal. In this, the food, that is nutrients, is first broken down into simple forms. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition is divided into three parts. First, saprophytic mode of nutrition. In saprophytic mode of nutrition, the organism derives the nutrients from dead and decaying organic matter. In this, what happens? The organism first releases some digestive enzymes in the surroundings, and the food which they have to intake are simplified, and then this simplified form is absorbed from the surrounding. Saprophytic mode of nutrition is found in fungi like mushrooms, agaricus, and in bread mold like rhizopas and yeast. They never feed on living organisms. They only feed on dead decaying matters. Then comes parasitic mode of nutrition. In parasitic mode of nutrition, the organisms take in food from the living organisms. The organisms from which the parasites derive the nutrients are called host. So parasites remain intimately attached with the host and harms them without killing them. Among plants that are having parasitic mode of nutrition are cascata or amarbel and yellow rattle. Among animals are found plasmodium, then comes roundworm or ascaris, tapeworm, tinea solium, and leech, lice, tricks, all are examples of parasitic mode of nutrition. Holozoic mode of nutrition. In holozoic mode of nutrition, the food is not absorbed but the whole food article is intaken, which is known as ingestion. The ingestion of food takes place and digestion takes place inside the body, or we can say that it has intracellular digestion. For this, they have some special mechanism for deriving the food towards it. For example, the special mechanism we found in amoeba is pseudopodia. Pseudopodia means false food. They have finger-like projection to attack or engulf the food particles. In paramecium, cilia is found all over the body. These cilia causes water current and drives the food particle towards the mouth of the organism. In hydra, tentacles are present which drives the food towards its mouth. In holozoic mode of nutrition, we find that there is a mouth or anus-like structure which are absent in parasitic and saprophytic mode of nutrition. Now we will find out the difference between parasitic and saprophytic mode of nutrition and holozoic mode of nutrition. In parasitic or saprophytic mode of nutrition, what happens? There are no special mechanism to intake of food. The food is only absorbed or sucked from the surroundings. In holozoic mode of nutrition, what happens? The food is not absorbed. It is engulfed or ingested, and then digestion takes place inside the body. In saprophytic and parasitic mode of nutrition, there are no special mechanism and they don't have mouth and anus. The food is not absorbed. It is digested step by step. First ingestion, then digestion, then assimilation, and then egestion. Now we will study about nutrition in amoeba. Amoeba undergoes holozoic mode of nutrition. It is unicellular animal, and thus the engulfing or ingestion of food is known as phagocytosis. When amoeba comes across the food particles, then what happens? It produces finger-like projection around the food particles. These are called pseudopodia. Now the finger-like projections which are produced engulfs the food particle. Amoeba is a unicellular animal, so it has single units. Now finger-like projection is surrounding the food particle in amoeba. Then it forms a food vacuole. This is the food particle. It has been surrounded by this pseudopodia, and this food vacuole which is formed then moves inside the cytoplasm, and then some digestive enzymes enters into this food vacuole and makes the food simple. After the food becomes simple, then it diffuses out into the cytoplasm. Now for egestion or for removal of undigested food, they don't have anus. So for removal of undigested food, egestion takes place, which is known as exocytosis. The food, undigested food, comes near the cell membrane of the amoeba, and from there the cell membrane ruptures and the undigested food comes out in the surrounding, and then again it forms its original shape. So in amoeba we find the mode of nutrition is holozoic, which is known as phagocytosis, and removal of undigested food is known as exocytosis. Now we will study about nutrition in plants. Plants can manufacture their own food by a process called photosynthesis. For photosynthesis, they need inorganic substances like carbon dioxide and water, and also in presence of chlorophyll, which is a green color pigment present in leaves of the plants. So leaves are called the kitchen of the plant. Now to study the photosynthesis in plant, first we must discuss about the internal structure of the leaf. If we take a transverse section of the leaf, then we find that upper epidermis consists of single layer of cell, and it is thick wall cell. It is cuticularized. There are no stomatal opening or chloroplast present in upper epidermis. Here is lower epidermis. In lower epidermis, it is also single layer cell and it is also thick. But in this lower epidermis are present pores which are known as stomatal pores. In between the upper epidermis, this is lower epidermis. In between the upper epidermis and lower epidermis comes the mesophyll tissue. Mesophyll tissue is the site where photosynthesis takes place. Now in mesophyll tissue, it is divided into two parts. First, palisade parenchyma. Below the upper epidermis are present palisade parenchyma, which are elongated cell. They are double layer and they contain chloroplast and thus take active role in photosynthesis. Below palisade parenchyma are present spongy parenchyma. Spongy parenchyma have oval or spherical shells and irregularly arranged. There are intercellular space between the cells. Along the vein of the leaf, we found the vascular bundles. Vascular bundle consists of xylem and phloem, which helps in transportation of water and food in plants. These are vascular bundles. Now, for photosynthesis, plants require carbon dioxide from atmosphere to perform photosynthesis. Now this carbon dioxide enters into the leaf through stomatal opening. These stomatal openings are guarded by guard cells. They are bean-shaped cells which have thicker inner wall and thinner outer wall. The function of the guard cells depends on the turgidity of the cells. When the water flows in the guard cells, they become turgid and stomatal pores opens. When there is no water, then guard cell shrinks and then the stomatal opening closes. So opening and closing of stomata depends on the movement of the guard cells, and guard cells depends on the turgidity of the cells. Now we got carbon dioxide from atmosphere through stomatal opening. And water. How do plants get water? Water is taken from the soil through roots. Now roots have root hairs which absorbs water. From roots the water is taken to leaves by xylem. Xylem takes water from root cells to leaves, and this is done by transpiration pool or ascent of sap. By ascent of sap and transpiration pool, water from the root hair reaches the leaf. And then solar energy. Solar energy is trapped by the green color pigment present in the leaves, which are known as chlorophyll. So what is chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is a green color pigment which are present in leaves, and chlorophyll is present in chloroplast. Chloroplast are special cell organelle found in plants. They are double layered, and inner layer opens into a large vacuole which contains jelly-like substance known as stroma. So this is known as stroma. Inside the stroma are present many piles and stacks of disc-like cells. They are known as grana. These are piles or stacks of disc-like cells. These are known as grana, and the gel-like substance is known as stroma. These grana are interconnected by interlamellar known as frets. Each disc-shaped cell is known as thylakoids. The membrane of these thylakoids contains green color pigment called chlorophyll. So main site of photosynthesis is the thylakoids in grana present in chloroplast. Now the overall reaction of photosynthesis is 6H2O plus 6CO2 will give carbohydrate C6H12O6 plus 6O2. This is the overall formula of photosynthesis. Now to study the photosynthesis, we will find that photosynthesis has two stages. First stage is known as light reaction. It is also known as photophosphorylation. In this light reaction, the water molecule which are present splits up, which is known as photolysis, and gives off oxygen. So light reaction takes place in presence of life. It is light dependent, and it takes place in grana of the chloroplast. Here water molecule splits up, which is known as photolysis, and gives oxygen through the leaves. Now comes dark reaction. Dark reaction is not dependent on light. It is also known as carbon dioxide fixation. In this, carbon dioxide which is taken in the leaves reduces to give carbohydrate. This carbohydrate, when stored in leaves, they are stored in the form of starch. So in dark reaction, reduction reaction of carbon dioxide takes place to form carbohydrate. So the photosynthesis takes place in two phases. First phase, the light phase or photophosphorylation stage, and the second stage is dark stage, which is also known as carbon dioxide fixation stage. Now I will show you the difference between light reaction and dark reaction of photosynthesis. Light reaction takes place in thylakoids in grana of the chloroplast, and dark reaction takes place in stroma of the chloroplast. Light reaction takes place in presence of light, and dark reaction takes place in absence of light. In light reaction, what events takes place? In light reaction, photolysis takes place. Photolysis means breaking of water. Photolysis takes place and oxygen is released through stomata, and the solar energy is trapped by chlorophyll to form into chemical energy. Chemical energy means solar energy is converted into ATP, means adenosine triphosphate plus NADPH. Now what are the events taking place in light reaction? First of all, water is splitted, that is photolysis takes place. In this what happens? Water is splitted and oxygen is released through stomata, and solar energy is trapped by chlorophyll and is transformed into chemical energy. Chemical energy means it is transformed into ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and NADPH means nucleotide adenosine dinucleotide phosphate. So solar energy is converted into ATP and NADPH. This takes place in light reaction. Now in dark reaction takes place in the stroma of the chlorophyll and in absence of light. Now in dark reaction what happens? Carbon dioxide is reduced to starch, C6H12O6, with the help of ATP and NADPH. This reduction of carbon dioxide to starch is known as Calvin-Benson cycle. What it is called? Calvin-Benson cycle. So carbon dioxide is reduced to starch. Now we can say that overall reaction of photosynthesis is 6CO2 plus 6H2O, sunlight, chlorophyll, then it forms C6H12O6, starch plus 6O2. Photosynthesis in desert plants. Desert plant have stomata which opens only during the night. So in daytime the stomatal opening remains closed to prevent the loss of water by transpiration. So during night carbon dioxide can enter in the leaves only during the night in desert plants, and when carbon dioxide enters during the night, then this carbon dioxide which is absorbed during the night is converted into an intermediate product known as malic acid. This malic acid remains stored in the leaves during the night, and when it becomes morning in the presence of solar energy, this carbon dioxide, intermediate product of carbon dioxide which is malic acid, then combines with solar energy and forms carbohydrate. So we find the main function of chlorophyll, which is a green color pigment and gives color to the leaf, is to perform photosynthesis by trapping solar energy, and this chlorophyll converts solar energy into chemical energy of food. Now other nutrients which are essential in plants also absorbed by plants. Now nitrogen from the atmosphere cannot be taken directly by the plants. So soil bacteria which are present in soil converts its atmospheric nitrogen into nitrites and nitrates and ammonium salts, and then roots takes the nitrates and ammonium salts into the plants, and nitrogen is required for the growth of the plant. Chloroplast are special cell organelle which are present in plants. They are a type of plastids and they contain chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the main coloring pigment which can trap solar energy and convert the solar energy into chemical energy of the food. Other pigments which can also absorb light energy are carotenoids and phycobilins. Carotenoids which can also absorb solar energy, and phycobilins. So main function of chloroplast is to perform photosynthesis which contains chlorophyll. In my next class, I am going to teach you nutrition in animals. Thank you for watching my video, and if you find my video useful, please do like and share my video and subscribe my channel to get the latest update of my videos. If you have any doubt regarding this chapter, then comment below. I will try to reply as early as possible.